Ladies and gentlemen, it came out earlier in the week through an article in Variety that Marvel Studios is in big trouble. They are in a large-scale crisis right now due to a bunch of blunders behind the scenes. There's issues with management. There's issues with the quality of the product. And this is one of the first articles I've seen that seems to be willing to openly admit that everything is not hunky-dory, because usually the mainstream media runs cover for these companies. Like, it's fine.
Okay.
Nothing's bad.
So Kathleen Kennedy is to Star Wars as Kevin Feige is to Marvel.
Yes.
I'm correct?
Except for Kevin Feige is far more competent.
He
or at least
he
was.
is not as widely hated.
No, he's for the most part, he was widely beloved for a long
Right.
time because Marvel was successful as was
But
as
with
successful
just
as
the
it was.
sheer volume of the crap that they're putting out
Yes.
from Marvel, it's like there's no way he can pay attention to that many things at once.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that the biggest parts of this article they talk about is that he's just spread so thin. He's only one man. They were putting out, when 2020 happened, they were putting out so many shows just constantly.
And it's the pandemic, so you're like forced to watch it.
Just take the slop,
in a
eat it, be happy.
straitjacket.
It's just gross. But the other thing, one of the other things we bring up before they get into that is they bring up that they're majorly screwed right now with the Jonathan Majors case because they've essentially organized all of this next phase of Marvel films around Jonathan Majors as Kang, and he was a star on the rise. Or I guess he still is a star on the rise, depending on how this trial turns
Did you
out. Right?
pay much attention to this dispute that came
Yeah,
out?
for sure. I watched the video, the whole.
What do you
listened to
think of the whole situation?
It's like every other situation, typically like this. Someone sees a possible payday, and they're going for a payday. It doesn't matter.
It's not the girl. It's the state that's pushing these charges. She dropped the charges. This is the state of New York that's doing this.
Well, initially, so the state picks up when these things happen. The state typically picks up whether it be rape, abuse, assault, whatever.
Yeah.
The state will pick it up even if you drop it. But I think initially the reason it was brought up was somehow, some way, money grab, right? Then she lets it go. Now the state picks it up. Well, what's going to come out of it?
This is New York City. They love letting criminals go free. Like, I don't get this.
Except
like,
when they're celebrities?
It's crazy. Like, you'd think that the celebrity
know.
of all people would be the one who they'd be like, let the guy go. What good is this for us to prosecute this case?
But the most recent Marvel theatrical release was Ant-Man Quantumania, am I right? And at the end, the big cliffhanger is obviously Jonathan Majors is picking up this whole franchise and trying to save it.
Yeah.
I don't think
as
it's a
the
conspiracy.
main villain.
No, I don't think it's. I just think it's a weird state of being right now, where like New York
Can
City.
you continue the Kang storyline with a guy who's essentially canceled in a lot of people's minds?
Well, and they're saying that they might push away from the Kang character and move it towards Doctor Doom, which they could. I mean, they could do. They could if they wanted. They just replace him. They just when Terrence Howard walked, they just dropped John Cheadle in there and didn't say a damn thing. They were like, they don't even look the same. It's not like they looked for an actor who looked anything like Terrence Howard. It's really funny. I had a friend who was at a Minnesota Timberwolves game recently, and she's like, Terrence Howard's here. I'm like, you should go up and ask him how he feels about leaving Marvel, because apparently that's a very big sore spot with him.
He spoke on it. He spoke on the entire, from the bottom to the top of it. Well, I think, look, Jonathan Majors, I think, is a great actor. However, he's not at a place where they're going to wait. He could still be replaced and no one thinks twice about it.
Yeah,
he's not
it's
at
early
that,
enough.
Yeah, the reason he's even at that point right now, essentially, is because of Creed, because of the hype of Creed, Michael B. Jordan. That whole thing is why it's not like, oh, look at this body of work.
Yeah, he had that. He had Devotion. Devotion didn't do great.
He had
but
other things and he's good.
And he had a couple of ad campaigns that got. He had the one through the Navy, or was it the Marines or the Navy, or was it the Army? It was the Army campaign that got pulled. He got dropped from CAA before all this happened. So it does feel to me like Marvel's like they kind of feel stuck right now.
There's another film that he was going to do where he's like a bodybuilder.
That got put on hold too.
Yeah.
Right.
Got delayed.
That was that got put on
Due
hold
to
too.
the strike,
Yes.
supposedly.
That's going to be the go-to excuse, just like the pandemic. Like it's 2023, and they're like, studios are still recovering from the theaters are still recovering from the pandemic. I'm like, bro, if they ain't coming back to the theater now, it ain't because of the pandemic. They ain't never coming
And
back.
next year it's gonna all be about the strike.
Well, that whole strike thing, and Jonathan Majors, I think, if he gets off, or I hate saying it like that, as if
he gets cleared.
Yeah.
If he ends up not getting
right, if he doesn't get convicted of something, then I think he still do this? I don't know, but he'll still have a career.
Yeah.
His career isn't over because, to be honest with you, no one really cares. Here's where it is, and this is probably the part, I don't know if you guys pay attention to it or not. Where it is right now is that the reason it's a big thing is because the black community of women,
Second crisis party. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold your thought.
Hold your thought. It's always when somebody's about
sorry.
to say something really important.
It's like, let me just interrupt you real quick.
It's like,
I hope those are my people. Said something.
yes. It's never when somebody's just not saying anything. It's always when somebody's about to make an important point.
They're just
we're
waiting
saying-
right there.
Continue
Oh
your
wait,
point.
there's a $20 super chat here from Philip Reed, who says, "When the aliens come down, all they really want to see is the pyramid by the river down in Memphis, Tennessee, made of glass and some brass. I'll knock you on your ass, make your damn jaw drop. What's that? A Bass Pro Shop." Yes, the 10th biggest pyramid in the world is a Bass Pro Shop in Tennessee.
Pyramid?
It's a pyramid. It used to be something else, and it got bought and turned into a Bass Pro Shop.
All right.
Yes.
It's one of the wonders of America.
Yes,
anyway, your point.
So what you were saying about Jonathan Majors
Well,
and the black
the
community.
reason it got so big is because black women in the black community, they hate that not just Jonathan, but any black celebrity star dates a white woman or marries a white woman.
Okay, I saw this discourse and I was like so puzzled by it.
This is a black community thing, and it's not community, it's a black woman inside of the black community thing where they go, we have ownership of black men, so we are the ones that they should be with and not the white woman, the blue-eyed white woman. So they're making it big because they're saying this. They're going, see, Jonathan, see what happens when you mess with them white girls? Yep.
Yeah.
See, we won't do that to you. This is what white girls do.
He's with Megan Good now.
Yeah, he
Well, this
corrected
wasn't-
himself. Well, that was what confused me about so much of the discourse about his accusations. People were not really talking about whether it was true or not. A lot of people were saying he deserves to get false accusations put on him because he's dating outside of his race. And I was like, wow, that's a big claim.
Wow, you just said that.
You
huh?
just said that
you
on a
just
public
said that
platform.
in public. Wow, that's crazy.
But mind you, it's not dating outside your race. That with the black girl community, there's levels. So dating outside your race is dating a white, specifically a black man with a white. If she's Mexican or whatever, the outrage is a lot less. It's tears.
Okay.
And it's freaking weird. It's dumb as heck. I done been with every. I have no preference in women, and it's just. I don't understand it. It's stupid. I do understand it, but I don't want to get into it. But it is.
But
what
they
it
were
is.
like, literally ruin this guy's life and throw him in prison because he deserves it for dating a white woman. That's literally what they were saying.
They will 100% be backing that.
So
just like
weird.
Kevin Samuels, that whole thing. You got Vivica Fox and different people like
R.I.P.,
happy
by
he
the way.
died. They're happy he died because he was saying things that didn't paint black women in the best light.
Thoughts on Kevin Samuels?
Kevin Samuels.
Are you a fan?
Oh, me? Yeah, I like Kevin Samuels.
As somebody who sees all of the kind of red pill manosphere guys as what they are for most people, which is entertainment, meaning that I'm not taking
For the most part, yeah.
I'm not taking these people as like courses to watch, but watching him take calls and roast people
On Instagram Live.
is absolutely something I've spent more than a little bit of time like
So
going down
funny.
the rabbit hole. But then it's like guilt, or it's like guilty pleasure humor. I'm like, listen to him. Like just destroy this poor lady who doesn't really understand what he's about as he kind of.
But they're choosing to get on the calls with him.
But I'm just saying that it makes me laugh. I like, and he's in his suit and like every time because you can't see the other person, you picture the other person in like Cookie Monster pajamas because of the way that he's like beating up.
Oh,
beating them up.
you wasn't watching the videos.
No, I know. I see the ones where it would just be the clip of him. I would never.
Oh no,
see the,
we're watching where you correct me if I'm wrong. Where the girl and him, they're in the same video.
Okay, the ones I was like,
Yeah,
it was when
he
he
would-
was taking calls. Like these were
No,
like,
yeah.
calls where, like,
He would go on Instagram Live. We're all talking about the same thing. He
Yeah.
would go on Instagram Live, and he would only talk to black women.
Okay.
If you called and you were
couldn't-
not a black woman, he would hang up on you.
I couldn't even see the person he was talking to in this, but it was just really, really funny because it was just like they would try to win, and he would just.
It's because typically what like he'll say and what I mean it is what it is. Like it was basically like basic average looking women.
Yeah.
And average
Or
and
that
a
they're
lot of people,
overestimating their worth.
He said, like, what do you bring to the table? And they would say things like, oh, my 3 kids.
Jeez.
Things like that.
He's like,
I
that's
bring-
We're
not
getting
the
a little
flexi-
off topic.
Okay,
I
we got
bring the table.
We got a $20 super chat here from Dat Pie over there. Says, it feels surreal that WWE is going to have a pay-per-view in the capital of Saudi Arabia tomorrow, considering the utter bedlam happening 1,000 miles northwest. Brett, I hope you're Brett, you're Brett, you're hoping for LA Knight to finally dethrone Roman. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the craziest thing is like I think Saudi Arabia, the country of Saudi Arabia paid WWE like $1 billion or something, like several $1 billion over so many years for shows, and they go there and they love the old wrestlers, so they always drag out the corpses of like the old wrestlers because the royal family loves like Hulk Hogan and all the old guys. But look, I would prefer it for decorum's sake if Roman Reigns lost the title at WrestleMania. That's my personal feeling. Whether to LA Knight, to Cody Rhodes, to whoever, but I would rather he lost it at WrestleMania. But Roman's been
You've
great.
been seeing a new meme with Vince McMahon doing this.
Yeah,
crying.
It's for everything too. It's
It's
like
so
it's
funny.
like
What was it like gaming with the boys during COVID?
the new one I saw was like Dad, what was it like playing GoldenEye and N64 with your friends on a Friday night?
Oh my!
Anyways, guys, so back to topic. So it's not just Jonathan Majors that's causing problems for everything right now. We've also got the fact that they talk a lot about how the behind-the-scenes structure of the company was just an absolute mess during COVID. Basically, after Phase 3 of the MCU ended, they referenced Victoria Alonso, and I tweeted about this. I was like, dude, that feels like 10 years ago. Now, the Victoria Alonso scandal about her getting fired for promoting a non-Marvel film that she produced.
Oh yeah.
Remember
No,
that?
she just like showed up to a red carpet.
Yes, but she produced this film and then she got fired. And they talk about whether was it bad visual effects, was that the fault of her, was that the fault of bad scripting and bad planning, and basically the picture that you get painted when you read this article is that for as organized as the company feels, it really is kind of a disaster behind the scenes, and you wonder how anything gets done when nothing seems to be structured. They were doing TV shows without showrunners.
Wow.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
That's like they were letting like executive producers run these shows. They were just letting executives, not creatives, executives were running these shows and then wondering why nothing was working out. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, they said like one episode of She-Hulk cost like $25 million to make.
And it looks that bad.
And the budgets on these shows, $250 million for something with no box office return. You're not getting $225 million worth of Disney Plus subscriptions. You've stalled out. You're not growing anymore. And the budgets have ballooned on all of these films. Everything is being produced at this scale that isn't conducive with actual financial return.
Exactly.
It's not. Especially since, as far as I know, and maybe somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, Disney doesn't go to pay-per-view model after. It goes straight to Disney Plus. A lot of these other studios, they go to like a pay-per-view model after it leaves the theaters, right? Like you can go pay VOD somewhere. I believe most Marvel stuff just goes straight to Disney Plus. I don't believe it goes pay VOD.
No,
where would it
that
go?
was the old. That's like the old timing. That's like blockbuster days. The way that used to work.
But still, no. A lot of movies now are still getting that pay VOD release, meaning that like you don't just go straight from theaters to streaming. So John Wick 4 isn't even on streaming yet. You can pay VOD it. And I believe it's coming to streaming this week or something like this. But like a lot of movies, so they have that streaming window where then you can go buy it or rent it for $19.95 on Amazon Prime. Or on one of these other services, right?
Okay.
So you can make up part of your budget that way. But if they're not doing that for these Disney Plus releases, they're just going straight to Disney Plus. And if it's a show like She-Hulk and it costs $200 million to make, where are you making your money back on something like that?
Right. If people aren't going to the theater, getting that ticket sale, if they're not selling physical products like DVDs, etc., if they're not doing actual legit pay-per-view, essentially that's what the whole strike thing is, what you're saying. And where is the money coming from? Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus, etc. That's where all this whole strike thing is coming from too.
Well, everyone's talking about residuals. I'm like, what residuals? They don't know.
They're thinking about Bob Iger being like sitting on a giant pile of gold coins that he's hoarding away from all the actors and the writers. He could give them more, but he's actually sitting on a pile of losses.
I like the idea that Bob Iger is actually Scrooge McDuck.
He's literally Scrooge McDuck sitting on a pile of money. That's what they think of him.
They want residuals. I'm like, for what? There's no commercials.
Where is it?
There's no ads.
And mind you, I understand the strike, and I understand and I got friends that's there and da 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 da. But at the end of the day, I believe most of these actors don't understand how business works with residuals, with ad revenue, with tangible sales of. They don't understand where this money they used to make once at a time came from. And they don't understand the consumer, that you're not going to make the consumer that once used to hate waiting for commercials to go off and hated that they had to get out their house and go to a theater. Those people don't want to go back to that. In order for you as an actor to make the money that you think you're supposed to make of the old days, we have to go back to the old times of ad revenue, etc., the things that we as consumers do not want to go back to in order for you to get that money. You can't get that money. There's no way to prove that you're the reason we're watching Netflix, a subscription-based thing. How can I prove that The Rock or whoever is the reason? You're able to do that before because we could actually look at the data. You can't do that with subscription-based platforms.
You can look at minutes, but minutes doesn't equal dollars. It all comes from this. Your 100 minutes from you here is the same as 100 minutes from me watching it on something else because I paid the same $15.99 to watch it. It's not financially viable to look at that way. And
how can we say who made them? What are they watching?
Yeah. Also, it's really funny because when I think about it, I'm like, you know who's not complaining? The ones who hit it big and hit like a network procedural that got like 10 seasons.
Abbott Elementary.
They're making bank off the residuals on your average Friends. The people who made Friends, the people who made all of the NCISs, all these shows, the Criminal Minds, all the ones that get replayed on Ion television every week for hours at a time. They get blocks of television. Psych, all these shows that are still getting played back these days, they're going to get residuals because there's ads on those because they're watching them on terrestrial television.
Exactly.
And they don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to them. And Marvel just doesn't seem to have any clue how to fix it because they've been watered down with so much content with no actual story planning behind all of it. And it doesn't seem to be getting better. It doesn't. I don't see where they're talking about how they're going to pare back the budgets on these things. Sure, I guess. Put out less content. Sure, I guess. But then it's just going to seem like they're giving up. Like, I think to the average person, they're just going to wonder, why is less stuff coming out? I don't think that there's a way to win themselves back in that. The one thing that I think they could do is I would like to see them move away from Marvel entirely, the Disney Marvel, and put a good 3 or 4 years into doing nothing but the 20th Century Fox properties that they bought, meaning the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, Deadpool.
We've got two $20 ones. First, Jake Turbin said, normally can't catch you guys live, but I'm taking a break for work and I'm in a great mood and wanted to share the love. God is good.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then Dreamcast Knight said, Jonathan Majors, why did they pick him to be Kang? Were they having I'm taking it back moment? Or do you guys think they were just that dumb? What were they going to do with China? He was Kang's, LMAO.
Yeah, I mean, that is an interesting thing given that Chinese box office does tend to frown on
black superheroes.
Yeah, like what they did with Black Panther and the poster, the
Finn.
advertising for Finn for Star Wars. I mean, the thing is, though, he's still going to be a villain, so it's not like he's going to be the main character on the poster anyways. He's still going to be an omnipresent character in the movie, but he's not necessarily none of them, and I don't mean this as a slight on him or any of these new actors, but none of them other than, I guess, Paul Rudd if they're still going, because they're discontinuing Guardians of the Galaxy, as far as I know. They don't really have a Robert Downey Jr. They don't have a Scarlett Johansson. And that's the other thing they talk about. One of the things that was floated at this Marvel retreat was bringing back the old Avengers,
Yeah,
which
I heard that.
if I was them, I would just be like, like I would be laughing because they can't seem to do without them. The base level pay for Robert Downey Jr. in Iron Man 3 was $25 million. And that was in 2013, I believe. So if you think you're going to get him for less than that with inflation, that's not going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. He's not going to come back for less than that. He doesn't need to. He finally got his star on the Walk of Fame. He's living good. He's living large. He hasn't had the same success outside of Marvel, but he doesn't need to have great success, especially if he's tired of playing the character, if he's done with playing the character.
You know what people like to watch and come back and watch, no matter if it's a bunch of it or not? Good stuff.
Yes.
Good writing, good directing.
How would you fix
good casting?
How would you, like, if somebody gave you the like said, like, how would you fix a problem like with Marvel or Disney? How would you fix something like this?
First and foremost, take all the woke out.
Yeah.
I don't even if it just looks like it's about to be woke, like I want this female superhero. Sorry, nah, not today.
Men only, ladies.
So we're axing Brie Larson.
You're out of here. But seriously, what I would do would be take all the woke out. If it doesn't make sense on paper, it doesn't make sense on camera, and just stop asking. Essentially, what they're doing now, Marvel and everything, they're essentially asking for permission from the consumer. This is why they put these Megan Thee Stallion, all this stuff. This is their way of saying, hey, are we good now? Is this okay? Are we?
I forgot about Megan Thee Stallion.
Are we good?
I forgot about that.
They have to stop making woke, because at the end of the day, when did things start getting bad in that realm, in the realm of entertainment and film, is when all the woke stuff started. I work on a show in LA. Well, you never know now because my videos freaking spin a lot, so I don't know who sees my stuff. So when the strike is over, I have no clue what job's gonna give me back, but whatever. I work on this show called The Sex Lives of College Girls. Yep. And that show is like, they got like I'm talking from the LGBTQ
that's Mindy Kaling's thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's slightly funny, and the cast they're cool, but they have to put all this woke stuff in it. They have to, even the crew, to the most part, they almost got to hire like certain, if you see the crew that they hired there, I'm like, what's happening right now? You got to take the woke out. Nobody wants to watch it.
Yeah.
Look at Top Gun.
Yeah.
Top Gun destroyed because no woke.
I think there's more to that, actually,
Yeah,
because I loved Dead Reckoning. I thought it was great. I thought it was a great like baseline action movie, and it didn't
What's there? I don't know.
It was It was the new Mission Impossible movie.
Esai Morales.
He was one of my favorite parts of it. He's another great actor.
Actor
who's been working because I love old procedurals, and he's been in everything. He's one of those guys you've seen, kind of like a Carlos Gomez, who you've seen in like a guest role and
Ozark.
everything. So you see him finally get to like a big budget picture, and it's fantastic to see. But that movie didn't do the numbers that Top Gun Maverick did. Had the same star, didn't have anything. It had a strong female character that still had to learn from the main character and didn't win all the time. It did the Indiana Jones, like the character from the new what was her name?
Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
No, I know what was the character's name? The crappy character from the new Indiana Jones. It did that character better than the actual Indiana Jones movie did, and it didn't do anywhere near the money that Top Gun Maverick did. I think that was American patriotism. I think there was a callback to American patriotism there. I think that they got an audience of older folks who don't mind seeing a movie weeks after it came out, meaning that the reason that movie had such strong holds week after week is because if my dad, like I use my dad as like a barometer for like what's actually like catching in the public, because my dad went to see Joker. My dad doesn't go to see movies in the theaters that much, but it caught public interest. So my dad went to see Top Gun Maverick like weeks after it came out because they don't mind going later, which translates to better box office because then the drops week to week are smaller, which is why it inches its way to $1 billion over time. And I think patriotism had a lot to do with that.
Well, in order to, in this day and age, answer this question, what is one thing that you could guarantee cannot be a part of something to consider it patriotic?
What, say that again. Like, what do you mean? Like something that can't be in it?
Yeah, to be considered patriotic.
I don't even know how to answer the question.
It's a weird question on my end.
Yeah.
But I'll say it this way. You cannot nowadays, you cannot have a patriotic this or that with woke in it.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is,
America.
what you're saying and what I'm saying is right on the same thing. Yes, patriotic, but also too, take woke out. They took woke out, they left it patriotic, and it boomed.
There wasn't a stupid airhead executive in Top Gun Maverick who was asking, how do we get 16-year-old girls to go see this?
Because they don't want
that's
to
not
go
the
see
target
Top Gun
audience.
Also, I think like woke is kind of, as much as I hate that word, synonymous with modern day Marxism, and they hate America. They don't like the West anyways, so there's no point in actually appealing to them, because there's a lot of the people that are from the West that buy into that are ashamed of being from the West anyways. They're ashamed to be from here. So there's no point in trying to make a patriotic movie that appeals to them, because they don't have patriotism. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.